Hello everyone. Today I wanted to do a second video, what we will call a bonus video for our Inktober series. And it's because I've been looking at my composition, and as we go forward and we've got the rest of the month ahead of us, I wanted to make a couple changes, and I wanted to share those changes with you in case you are interested in making them as well. Obviously, you don't have to. These are sort of extras or little bonus ideas that I'm going to throw out for you. And if you watch this video and find it interesting for your own composition, by all means, carry on. If not, just ignore it and jump back into day 8 when that video comes out. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So as I looked here, when we first started, I didn't want my nameplate to steal the show, so to speak, from all the tangles that we were going to have as they come together in this ever-evolving composition. But as I've added some tangles, I can see that it's not only not overtaking my tangles, it's kind of fading into the background. So what I want to do is I'm going to ink between my two little borders here. So I'm just going to put black ink all the way around that, nothing else, just to help that be separated and identifiable more easily and not kind of lost in all the lines. And then secondly, I'm going to make some changes here to our werewolf. I like this idea of the simple, cute, friendly little fox with very light and very airy. And then our dark werewolf here, I want him to look like he's in a cave or in a dark room, and we're going to create an effect where he looks like he's backlit and we see the edges of his fur in that white backlit light. And so I think it'll be a fun technique, nothing overly complex, but it will change how these two things look. So I wanted to show this video, or rather film this video, so that you could see the process involved. So with that, I'm going to start inking my border. And since this is a real simple, obvious kind of technique, I don't need to show it all to you, so I will likely just fast forward in the video editing process and you'll see the completed inked border here, because that's nothing that requires any explanation or conversation. So that's what we're doing now. Okay, now that I have finished inking all around that nameplate, you can see that it does make a really dramatic difference. Without stealing the show, it just creates a nice barrier, so to speak, between the nameplate and the other tangles, not only that we've done, but those that will be coming as well. So I think that was a good choice, at least in my opinion. I do want to show you the process and focus in on the way that we're going to enhance our werewolf. Now, first of all, I'm going to ink all of the background behind him. Now, that's going to make some of these details, like the little hairs and the jagged edges, even his whiskers, are going to somewhat disappear. But I'll show you how we're going to combat that effect by adding and using some white gel ink and some charcoal white pencil, or white charcoal pencil, I should say, to create almost like a backlit appearance. So he'll appear as though he's in this dark area, but there's a light behind him that is shining or glinting around through his fur on the edges of his face and so on. And I think that will add a really neat effect and allow us to bring a little more fun element here to our werewolf without him just sort of floating there in this white background that doesn't really fit our creepy werewolf moment, right? So we want to try to enhance that by a background and a little technique I'll show you here. It's not even really a special technique, but just a way that we can create a backlit effect after the fact. Now, artists, when they paint or do marker drawings and so on, they often lay the backgrounds down first, and then they can create that lit effect and just draw over the top of it. But since we're doing it in reverse here, we have to have a little technique at our disposal to make that happen. So as you can see here, I'm just inking in, and I'm trying to not just create a straight line along the fur. I'm adding a little jaggedness in the fill of the black, which will already help give us a step in the right direction for that effect that we're going to do with our gel pens. But I just wanted to get this black background in place, and then we'll do those subtle enhancements. So almost done here. It will add a lot of drama here to this part of our composition, but that's okay. It doesn't have to all look like it's exactly even. We can create visual differences that will cause the eye to move throughout the composition, and that's something I've mentioned in other videos. But this is perhaps a good example, because by having boldness and movement in our pieces, let me zoom out a moment. So we'll look at this, and the eye goes here, then the eye sees this, then that's dark, but then the eye follows along these lines, and you're going to be automatically led throughout the entire composition without us even having to stress over that. It just sort of takes place. So now let's zoom back in. Let's finish up our werewolf in this little bonus video. So we're going to take our white gel pen, and all I'm going to do here is add some little tiny marks that will help into the black, that will help recapture that, or hopefully recapture that sense of fur and ragged edge here to our werewolf. And we're going to add a couple little tufts of hair coming out of his ears there and up across the top. We had a few peeking up along there. Alright, so that's already getting good. I'm going to make those dots on his eyes a little better. Let's make sure we didn't lose our teeth here. Let's take our charcoal, and we're going to add a little bit of a glow around the outside edge, just a little, to kind of soften the edge so that those little white marks don't just look like they're randomly, weirdly sitting there. Just a little bit of this white charcoal. Up into where those fur pieces are. That's what we want. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white if I can. Just to his nose there. We'll brush that up a little bit. I don't know how well you can see some of these details, but I'm just adding enough in there to give a sense of a backlight. That it's we're not seeing the light directly, but it's kind of glancing off of his fur and maybe shining a little bit around him. And that's what's creating this effect here. Blend this a little bit. And now I'm going to go back again with my jelly roll, and and I'm going to add a little bit more accent to him. Going along those whiskers a little bit. There. I think that looks better. I don't know about you. Let's zoom out, and let me turn off one of my lights here that's always glaring on us. And let's see, let's zoom back in now. Now I see that. And you can kind of see that a little bit better. It just gives a little more sense of uniqueness to that image there, and not just sitting there in the same white. So it's another contrast too. We have, like I said, the light, happy, friendly, easy, simple lines, and we have the dark, lots of lines, lots of detail down below. So it's a nice contrast between those two images. Well, that's it. I just wanted to show you this little enhancements. This is what I said, called it a bonus video. Whether it's a bonus or a curse, I'm not exactly sure. I'll let you be the judge. But I didn't want you to wonder how the heck did he make those changes, or even why. So, well, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see everybody tomorrow for day 8. Take care now. Bye-bye.